A long game, like Cody said, Florida Heat, can't be easy. Those are the games where it comes down. It's a mental battle at that point. Who wants it more? And
second game of the day too.
Second game of the day. Yep. All these things could have been excuses for you guys to take your foot off the gas pedal and let the other team sneak up on you. But no, you kept your foot on the gas pedal and you're able to come out with a win. Andrew Point with the walk-off base hit. Congratulations.
Thanks,
Great
sir.
job.
Yeah,
Let's give him a round of applause.
Big time.
Great job. Big time. 2-1. LaPointe, what were you thinking at that at-bat to come through for your team?
Well, I was just thinking trying to stay through the ball and not roll over and just keep it simple.
Absolutely. And kept it very simple. Got a base hit to win the game. Great job. Congratulations to everybody, too, that won that received all tournament team honors. We had 6 kids from the team that made it. That's great. Congratulations to you guys as a whole. Played great baseball. No self-inflicting wounds. Selfish baseball. Did what you need to do when the opportunities presented themselves. So great job. And let's segue over to your next championship win, War at the Shore. What did you guys think about that tournament as a whole? You went 5-0, only gave up 6 runs in total for the entire tournament. Coming off of a victory a few weeks back, how were you able to translate and keep the train going?
We just had the 15U mentality. Even though it was a 14, we just couldn't think that it was a 14 because then we wouldn't have played as well as we normally do. So we just stuck to the 15U mentality.
Absolutely. When you guys are out there, you guys can probably feel it as a team, that mentality and the vibe that you guys bring to the ballpark every day. Someone speak a little bit about that and, that mentality, that vibe, going out there every day. How did that stack up against some of the other teams you ran into?
Well, that vibe is hustle, and every time an inning's over, you gotta bust over to your next spot, and that's what we really did well, and that's how we beat other teams. As teams walked in the dugout, we were already taking ground balls and throwing pop flies.
And not let a bad at bat translate into an error on the field. Keep them separate and just play good.
Absolutely. Coutu, when he was on Prospects TV, in the last episode, he talked about the pace of play, and something I think is pivotal to the Prospects organizations and all of our teams is, like you guys are saying, it's a hustle. You're going out there. At-bats are not going to affect you in the field. You're going out there, hustling out there, and ready to play your position and do what you need to do. So you guys also played from behind in both the semifinal and the final of that tournament, able to come back and win those games. What was your mindset when you guys were behind and having to chip away to win the game?
I mean, we just knew we had to once we get a few runners on and we start going, we're taking the lead and not turning back. We just had to get something going.
I mean, we talked about it before, when the hustle and the routine, is familiar, you don't tend to feel out of place so much. So this is a team that has been very impressive to coach and sit back and watch. Tyler and I talk about it all the time. Same with Matt. It's one of those things where you never feel like we're done.
Mm-hmm.
No matter what situation. I mean, we're going into the 4th, 5th inning down 3-0 in the semis, and them sticking to that routine and staying true to themselves. It's just a matter of time where we sit back and say it's going to click.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what they do. They no matter back against the wall, no matter if they're up by 10, they play their ball, and that's been the most impressive thing about it. We haven't veered off that.
It helps us tremendously because we don't feel the need to make any panic moves or trying to force anything on the bases, call a play, make some kind of change. We know that we can feel confident letting them continue to play their game and we'll get the results we need.
Absolutely. You talk about confidence, and it's not an over-the-top trying to prove that you're confident. It's you guys know. You guys know what you're capable of, and you guys know no matter what the score, you guys are able to take control. And like you said, don't let you guys get runners on because that's only going to cause trouble for the other team, So any moments about that tournament specifically that, that stuck out to you guys, learning points, Go ahead, cousin.
I think it's the finals. The other team showed up late, and they were all 6'4", probably.
They sound big.
They're
boys.
big. And we didn't play scared. Well, maybe in the beginning, but then we finally realized like we have a chance to win this, and we can win it.
Yeah, we were playing a little timid, then we kind of woke up, got the bats rolling. Pitching was kind of slow to start off with, but then found it, came around.
Yeah, I mean, Lynch came in and shut the door for 4 innings, and that's exactly what we needed right there. Allowed us to get our bats going.
And what helps the most from a coaching perspective, we were talking about it, it's funny how all these tournaments have been deja vu. Every single one. And we've learned from each moment. So, for example, down in Florida, semifinal game, Luciano throws an incredible game, but there's pitch count rules, pitch smart, and perfect game. So we go to Lynch with bases loaded, 1 out, and the tiebreaker. He gets the job done. 7 pitches. He then makes the start for the next game, the championship. Reaches his max, giving up 1 run. Martel comes in, does the job. And same thing. We get to the situation, Bork's on the mound in the championship. Lynch closed the game before, comes back into it. Big plays. We had, I think it was the 7th inning. They had of the perfect game Florida championship game, and Team Miami had men on first and second, 2 outs. Cuzman lays out and makes a spectacular big play. Andrew LaPointe comes up and makes a big hit. So it was constantly finding ourselves in these big moments and coming through. And don't get me wrong, there were times, and they'll tell you, there were times where we did have those big moments and we didn't come through. But it didn't affect us. It was almost like we looked for that opportunity, and when we saw it, it was a comfort level, as opposed to being timid and backing away from it. So from a coaching perspective, when you see these guys entering the same situation, like Tyler said earlier, we don't feel the need to panic, and we don't feel as though these guys aren't up for it. We know every single person. I mean, we made Carmelo up the middle, phenomenal double play balls. McDuff came up with a big hit. Bork, he'll tell you, he's been on fire all year. Gave up 3 runs in the first, was not himself, could have easily put his head down, learned from it. Next 2 innings, gave up 0s. We just kept going and going. Jones with a big performance in the pool play game to allow us to get a big win, to get that 1 seed. That's a big deal. Same thing, LaPointe with a couple big knocks. Essery doing his job on the mound, getting a couple base hits as well. Luke, same thing. Like, it's nonstop. Like, I'm not gonna lie, the kid from Palm Beach Select was throwing gas. Most of the kids would have got out of the way of the ball. Luke Laverger just sits there and turns his back into it and wears it like a champ, But he knows the moment. He knows what it takes. It's a guy getting on base and getting the run in. So it's just things like that this team has done a very good job of.
Definitely that next man up mentality.
Yeah.
Everybody doing their job. It's a great thing to see. Talk about that pool play game, Jones, that you pitched. In these tournaments, every game matters.
Yeah.
You slip up one game in pool play, and it could mean that you don't make playoffs. So, Jones, what was your mentality going into that game? And obviously, you performed very well. What was your mentality? What were you thinking about going into that start?
Well, usually in the car, on the way to the field, I was listening to music to try to get me pumped up. And then when I'm playing catch, I just always think about situations and what I'm gonna do if I get into a certain situation. And the whole game was just going perfect. I was striking kids out, and then you guys were making all the plays that you had to, and the offense was going great. We were just getting runs and runs, so everything was just going our way that game.
Yeah, that's great. And you talked about it, Cody. I can tell just from talking to you guys, the preparedness. Jones, like you said, preparing for those situations, those big moments, when the opportunity presents itself, following through and succeeding in the big moment. That's what makes great teams great.
Yeah.
And congratulations to you guys. Great job winning both these tournaments. Still have 2 more tournaments left for the summer. What's your mindset going into those next 2 tournaments?
I mean, win them. Yeah. I already won 2. Might as well win 2 more.
Yeah, I think it's maintain the pace. I think that's what we've been talking about. Just being able to repeat. We did have 1 tournament in between Florida and War at the Shore, which was a good taste of our own medicine. You know, again, one of those situations where we went 3-1 and didn't advance out of our pool. A little bit of a hangover from a championship and tired because we had one day off. We flew back. We were in Sarasota, New York. Sorry, Saratoga, New York. And I think they learned from it. You know,
Absolutely.
They learned from it. And real quick, before I forget, I got to say two things. Number one, he's not here. Braden Ventura. You know, going down to Florida, we lost one of our really good catchers in Davis Johnson. And, you know, when we told him he's going to be catching every single game, when I tell you every game, it was hot. You know, he didn't play. And the most impressive part was, we all talked about it. He's DC. He's a dugout captain. He caught every game. He was helping coach first base at some points with his full gear on. You know, he just never stopped. Like every ball, we're up by 4 or 5. Every ball is blocked. You know, I can't even tell you the amount of times between him and us, like bunt defense plays. You know, not many 14-year-old teams can execute a bunt defense play in a situational game. You know, we're executing wheel plays, wheel play picks. Braden with back picks based on wheel play looks. You know, all that stuff. And same thing, that like you said, next man up. You know, Braden had a family event going on this past weekend. And Andrew LaPointe, who's our outfielder, who's also a catcher at Barrington High School, you know, without hesitation, it was like, hey, LaPointe, you know, there's 2 games that he's not going to be able to be there. Can you gear up and go? And same thing, comes in, takes over like that, commands the defense, holds the fort down. You know, Braden came back for the championship. It's just incredible. It's incredible to see. We talk all the time, like, it's just, this is a special team, very special team.
Absolutely. And, you know, one thing you've been talking about, the middle infield too, you're talking about the wheel play picks, turn and double plays. For those of you that don't know, at a 14U age group, those things that's very advanced.
Yeah.
You know, so Mello, you play second base. What was your experience with those types of plays before this team, and your comfort level now that you execute on them on a weekly basis?
It all started in like Seawolves when we used to do them, and then I just got used to them. And then usually when he calls it, it always works out right. We always get the out when we need to, or even if we don't, they won't bunt the next time.
Yeah, that's great. And like you pointed out at Seawolves, it's a programmatic thing.
Yeah.
You know, so start them young, teaching them these skills that a lot of kids the same age don't have, and being able to instill those skills and the different game plans is huge for the players in our program, and it's obviously shown with you guys here.
Very, very, very coachable. I mean, they'll tell you right outside this parking lot, you know, for our first tournament, we're going over bunt defense for about an hour and a half, you know, first and thirds. And we say it all the time. We know, we're not dumb as coaches. It's boring. You know, it's not ground ball after ground ball, swing after swing, bullpen kind of thing. It's a miniature field, walking through and just making sure we're comfortable so that when the moment occurs, we can take advantage of it. But again, you got to give credit to these guys, because there wasn't a time where we had to call time and go reset a play or talk about a play. The play was called. It was instant gratification in terms of the result we were looking for. And like Mello said, even when, you know, a ball might have been bunted foul or a first and third play, the guy holds up on the steal, it canceled whatever that team had in mind doing, and allowed us to, again, take that momentum back and swing it our way.
Yep, and it speaks to the maturity of you guys as a team. And like you said, you know, these teams are probably coming in thinking, we can get a bunt down on these guys. They're not going to be ready for it. But you guys have shown that you can and you will protect against those type of plays, and there really is no way to get around it for the other team. So great job. Give you guys a round of applause. Thank you for coming out. It was a great show, and good luck to you guys on the next 2 tournaments.
For sure. Thanks, Justin.
Thank you.
Take care, guys.